New York isn't the only city. I was trying to count in my head, actually, while also looking at my notes to see how many cities I had marked as being cities where they were sanctuary cities, right? Because sanctuary cities, there's quite a lot of them. Quite a lot of them. And they had advertised that they were sanctuary cities. And they welcomed all these people. Do you remember the debate that we had over the Statue of Liberty? The phrase that's on the Statue of Liberty, and how everyone acted, like the left acted like it's binding law. What's on the statue? They acted like it was binding law. Bring us your tired, the statue says what it says. So Eric Adams, being a sanctuary city mayor, and dude campaigned on this too. He had talked about sanctuary cities. This was a big thing with him. And he's saying, well, now we're going to have these budget cuts. We're going to have budget cuts now, guys. He's been complaining that all of these people coming into the country and going to New York, it's costing them hundreds of millions of dollars. And it's going to be, he says, and he hasn't just said it, he's held a press conference every time he said it. He says, and we've played some of this audio. He has said that this issue is going to destroy New York City. He warned New Yorkers that illegal immigrants are going to flood all neighborhoods. It's so weird because it's almost like we told you this was going to happen if you kept doing this. Isn't that weird, Kane? It's so weird because it's like we told him. We're really good at telling people, right? Really good at telling people, like, hey, look, you knew this was going to happen. And they still kept going with this policy. And so now, I don't know how many people they were having sent up to New York. And you know why I don't care? I don't care because so many towns in Texas and Arizona and California, New Mexico, so many of these other border states had to deal with this already at a greater pace, a greater number. So he's been complaining for forever. He's like, we're going to probably have to have budget cuts, He had said every service in the city is going to be impacted. So now he's literally I was reading the New York Times piece on this, and that's what I had linked for you, I believe. He's not just cutting the education. They're looking at summer school, universal pre-K, all this stuff. He wants to look at $1 billion out of education department. The budget cuts for police, per New York Times, would bring the number of officers below 30,000 for the first time since the 1980s. And these things target literally everything from libraries and police, his budget cuts. They would freeze police hiring, close libraries on Sunday, and he warned that more cuts would be necessary without additional federal funding to manage the illegal immigration crisis. Federal funding, meaning more of our tax dollars. So you're going to be paying more. Kane, how many months do we have to work out of the year before we actually get to keep our paychecks?
Oh, man.
Is it 3 months? Isn't it 3 months out of the year?
I think it's getting up to 4 now.
Yeah, I think for some of us it's 4 months. No joke. You guys would die if you knew what I sent to the IRS, what I had to pay. You guys would die. Hate the IRS. They're thugs. It's literally legalized thuggery. What it is. It's the Department of Thuggery. That's what the IRS is. You can bite me. So the budget cuts that they have, bringing police officers well below 30,000, slashing Department of Education by over $1 billion, delay the rollout of composting in the Bronx and in Staten Island. That's apparently one of his initiatives that he rolled out to deal with rats and other stuff. Oh, and the climate. The cuts would also weaken, as I said, summer school, universal pre-K. He said he has to make these cuts because the cost of illegal immigration, slowing tax revenues. Wow, so you mean when you get all these people that come in illegally and they are working, they're not paying into the system? Is that what you're telling me? Because there's no way for, wow, who knew that that's how that worked? So when they're, doing jobs and getting paid, it's not we're not going through that. Oh, imagine that. So now I'm wondering how New Yorkers are going to react. I mean, he came out with a video yesterday saying that, we've warned New Yorkers about the challenging fiscal crises. We warned them all this stuff was going to happen. But do you think that people are going, they said that there's going to be more cuts in the next 6 months too. So is this going to impact anything? I don't think New Yorkers are going to change how they vote. People voted for this. You voted for this. The audacity of some of these people that pretend to have compassion too for stuff happening at the border, they voted for this. And then when the bill comes due, they're sanctuary cities. And then you have these people who are coming into the country illegally. And then they go to these sanctuary cities. And what did you think was going to happen? What did you think was going to happen? This is so asinine. Did you think that everyone else was going to carry the burden of your self-glorifying policy? And that's what it is. It's self-glorification. These people act like they have such a compassionate heart, but they're very generous with everyone else's money and resources. That's the thing. Is that true generosity? When you're saying that you want to help someone, but you actually don't want to spend the capital or the time to do it? When you say that you want to help and you think that just co-signing a policy that doesn't require any skin from the game from you think that's compassion? That's how these drive-by progressives think. They think that, we'll pay more in taxes. That's not really how it works, because when you, especially with border issues at the entry, at the egress points, you have the people who are around that area that are paying the most in resource and in state tax dollars too, with Texas. And then all of us with federal money. I think that New York should have to bear the brunt of their policies themselves. They don't deserve federal dollars. It's a rich ass city. You know what? You go down to Fifth Avenue and you shake those folks down at Fifth Avenue and you have them pay for this stuff. Y'all wanted to be a sanctuary city? Guess what? Here's your time to shine. You get to be a sanctuary city, meaning you get to reach your hand deep into your pockets and you get to foot that bill yourself. You don't get to grift and act like aristocratic welfare on the backs of everybody else. You get to pay for your policies yourselves. You get to pay for it. So all you people in New York who voted for this, all those Democrats, sorry about you guys who are upstate, really sorry about that. You guys got to deal with all the stupid people that are down in Manhattan. I feel you. But particularly for the people in Manhattan, particularly the people who have been voting for Democrat year after year, decade after decade, generation after generation. This is on you. Pay your damn bill. Pay your fair share. Pay the share of your ideology that is costing you. It is not anybody else's job to pay for your welfare asses up in Manhattan. Next. Not doing it. That's what it is. It's a grift. It's a grift. Pay it for yourselves. I don't care if they cut every damn program. I don't care if you all cut your whole damn police department. I don't care if you cut your entire Department of Education. I don't care if you cut it all. That is what you asked for. It is what you got when you voted for it. Suck it up. Lie in the bed that you made. This was him asking for money. Please, sir, can I have some federal money? We're a sanctuary city.
While we succeeded, make no mistake, we are not out of the woods. We added billions of dollars to care for the migrants. COVID funding is sunsetting, and we must close a $7 billion budget gap in the coming fiscal year. That is the reality we are facing. And if circumstances don't change dramatically, city agencies will be forced to reduce city funding spending by 5% 2 more times within the next 6 months. That would mean disruptions to the services we all rely on. We cannot afford to be divided as a city in this moment. We must come together and speak with one voice to Albany and Washington, D.C. to get the support we need.
Too bad. You guys voted for it.
To join us in that call.
No, that's what you guys wanted. You guys wanted that. You shamed all of us who said maybe we should have some laws. Maybe we should have some, I don't know, orderly entry into the country. You guys didn't want that. If it's one thing that I hate, it's people who sit here and they eat big on somebody else's dime. It's like taking New York out to dinner. Taking Manhattan out to dinner, and you're sitting at the table with Manhattan. Manhattan's ordering all this stuff. You're having like a simple meal. You're eating in your budget. Manhattan, with its champagne taste and its beer budget, eating all this stuff, and then sends you the bill after. Oh, hell no. We're not doing that. I hope they cut every damn department. I hope their trash piles up in the street. I hope they're miserable and they suffer because everyone else has to suffer. You push everyone else to deal with these policies, and y'all get off scot-free. I'm done with it. You know what? And even if they did, even if they cut everything and they were suffering, they still wouldn't have an ounce of the squeeze that all of these other border towns have been dealing with for decades. So I do not feel anything in my heart for you but contempt. Not at all. And that's your all's own doing. That's Manhattan's doing. Stop voting for stupid people. Maybe you won't have stupid consequences from stupid policies. Super simple.